Right, so welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is my February video diary of my nature walks. Starts off really good with local barn owl. I haven't seen it since last year. So what I decided to do this month was just go to one or two locations very regularly. This particular location I probably went to 10 times in the month. Sometimes you're rewarded with beautiful pictures like these, other times there's nothing about, but you get to know what to expect and where to expect to see it. The Roe Deer are very near to where the barn owl was showing up, so if you don't see the Roe Deer, rather if you don't see the barn owl, chances are you'll see the deer. Everything in this video is chronological order. So there'll be barn owls appearing throughout the length of the video, and other things not all taken on the same day, obviously. Yeah, that barn owl there just flew right over a Roe Deer. Didn't really notice it until I got home again. I must do more video of them actually flying instead of taking stills, I think. So graceful. Yeah, the local pheasants are starting to show up quite regularly. But this particular day, the only thing I took a picture of was this magpie, but it's quite a nice picture, so I'm not too bothered. Teal are everywhere at the moment. Another day, another barn owl. Different light. There's a lot of fence hopping this particular barn owl, which is good because it's probably easier to get barn owls flying than it is to get them perched, in my experience, limited though it is. Little egret features quite a lot on this month's video. They're probably more common to see around my way than heron. Swans are flying around and being quite aggressive to other swans, and long-tailed tits are always nice to see, as is the local buzzards. Nice pair of those flying around yesterday. Now the other place I've been to quite a few times is up to Kendal to see these dippers. I was really looking for the otter again, but the dippers were there, so they're so good to watch. Not bothered that you're there watching them, probably mostly because of the noise of the river. Quite a fast running river where I'm seeing these particular ones, but they're so comical. They're good at diving, swimming, fishing. I didn't realise they caught fish, but they do. Where's it going to pop up? You never can tell. Oh, there it is. This particular day it started to feel like spring was in the air. Didn't last though. But the sheep had started having the lambs in the field next to this river. Great to see. Then I had a little run to Harrogate with my wife so she could do a bit of shopping, stop her moaning about me going out with my camera all the time. And this squirrel's right at the side of Betty's, right in the middle of Harrogate. Luckily I had my camera on me. I couldn't resist taking that picture of the paddling in the town there. I'd rather see things like that than just boarding up. Back home, frosty, cold. Nothing much around that day, so the swans were getting it. teal again, just like the ducks on the wall in Coronation Street. And there's the Roe Deer watching me. That's how I like to see the Roe Deer, just peeking through. This drainage ditch, some days there's nothing there, and other days it's absolutely full of things. Mallard ducks and teal mainly. There's a little egret again. They're only a small bird, but when they've got the wings out they look quite big. I had a run out to Leighton Moss and parked at the side of the road to see the fallow deer. Not a great fan of fallow deer, and they're obviously farmed, some stately home or other, but they were just at the side of the road, so it's worth taking a picture of these bucks. Strange bedfellows in Leighton Moss here. We've got the lapwings, snipe, shelduck all happily together. Then we've got the great black-backed gulls with the cormorants and the coot. Lots of cormorants at the moment. Quite a wingspan on them. And then this is a common gull, which not particularly common round our way, but they're called the common gull, so it's worth having a good look at it to see what the differences are. Leg colour and other bits. Great crested grebe kicking around. They're nice to see when they start mating. Then the tufty club was out. And robins everywhere, just hoping you're going to feed them, which we didn't. Nice to see a cormorant take off and actually see one in flight. Huge wingspan. Moor hens, plenty of moor hens around. More coots at Leighton Moss than moor hens though. Then we had a run up the moors, and started off we saw a buzzard, didn't think we were going to see much else, then a heron, and then my eagle-eyed friend Keith McFarlane spotted a peregrine at least 400 yards away, but luckily I had the 600mm with a 2x converter on, and then cropped right in just to get a record of seeing it. It's a spectacular bird. Probably on the lookout for grouse. Quite pleased with that considering how far away we were. And back home again, another morning, early morning. Barn owl it was quite windy that day. It was just fence hop, well not fence hopping, hedge hopping. Don't know if it was looking for birds possibly. It certainly wasn't catching anything. But it did fly past a few times, so grateful for that. Using the 200mm f2 for these particular shots. Not as sharp as I would expect, but it's such a heavy lens to hold. I should have really taken a monopod. Then Keith gave me a call to say I had to go to Heysham for work. Did I want to come with him? And have a walk down the quayside, see if there was anything around. So I took him up on the offer, and there was plenty of knot, and mostly knot actually, and oyster catchers around. Didn't do any great murmurations flying wise, which they do some days, but it was that windy that day. Shows the difference in size between an oyster catcher and a knot. Quite a lot smaller than you think when you see them next to something else. Then back home again, the little egrets was about the only thing I saw that morning as well. As long as you see something. Go on, take off. Let's see a flying shot. Oh, well done. Whoops. Glad I wasn't underneath that when it came down. Some mornings you don't see anything, so it ends up taking pictures of farmers' chickens and blackbirds. That's the way it goes. Oh, there's usually a few swans around. Swans far more interesting when they're taking off and landing, but very graceful. Then back to Kendal. Again, no otter, but the usual grey wag and dippers galore. So at least three different pairs of dippers up on both the Kent and the Mint. Could watch them all day. Go on, dive in, you know you want to, dive in, go on. Oh, well done. Must use a lot of energy because it's a real fast flowing river. Next morning back home, and I'm stood looking, hoping I'm going to see a barn owl, and a couple of dog walkers walked past and said, "What's that white bird in the tree behind you?" Turned round and the little egret was there. And it's one of my favourite pictures I've got of the little egret, and same when it took off. Captured it quite nice, I think. I was being watched though, as you usually are. Then yet again back to Kendal on a Saturday with Keith, and straight away spotted this gold crest, followed by a little wren down by the river. Don't usually see them by water. I guess they've got to go by the water, but nice to watch again. I love little wrens. Always on the go. Quite a few field fare around, right time of year for them. And long-tailed tits. Hard to get a decent picture, they're always in amongst all the branches and twigs, and oh yeah, another grey wag. Beautiful little birds. And then dippers. Getting that used to seeing the dippers up there, I thought I'd do a bit of experimenting with trying to take some really slow shutter speeds. So I think on these I got down to about a 20th of a second, handheld with a 600mm lens, and it's smoothed the water out quite well, but 9 out of 10 shots were throwaway because of either bird movement or camera movements, but it does make a difference. One day I'll take my tripod and do a proper job. Obviously I haven't used a tripod or a monopod on any of these pictures, I don't think. Oh, there we go. Quite easy to spot because of the white chests, but sometimes you think there's nothing there and then they pop up out of the water. You've got to just stand and watch for a while. About the size of a blackbird, maybe a bit smaller. We started to notice that some of these dippers were collecting moss, and we think they were starting to build the nest. Soaking wet 1 minute, bone dry the next. And then, as we suspected, one flew straight towards us with a mouthful, and it did look as though it was going to an area that we'll keep our eye on to build its nest. Not often you get them flying straight at you. Again, some slow shutter speeds here to smooth the water out. Anyway, back home again. Started off with a Roe Deer, followed by a little egret. And then the little barn owl, every time it tried catching something, there was either magpies or crows or even a buzzard one day pinching its food. I haven't seen it all this week, so I hope it's okay. I certainly saw the little egret plenty. Did well to balance on that twig. And the grey heron's starting to make an appearance a bit more regularly, which was good, as did the barn owl on this particular evening. On this next terrible bit of video footage, barn owl was a mile away in really bad light, but I thought, well, I'll just do a bit of video, it might come out okay. It's only when I got back home and looked, I thought, what's that up in the tree to the left of it? And as you can see on here, there was a sparrowhawk sat up in the top left corner. I didn't even see it when I was there, too busy looking for the barn owl. Nice when you get the Roe Deer out in the open. I think they're that used to seeing me. I used to quite like it when they were springing in the air, but now they just stand and watch and carry on eating the grass. Always nice to see them though. And back to Kendal. quite close to this one. Don't normally get that close. Sorry about those notifications beeping every now and then. Told you they were used to me. And then Kendall again, this time, for anyone who's interested, these are all with the 600mm 6.3 PF with a 2x converter on. I reckon for video it does quite a good job, but the stills have held up well as well. But there was a little bit of light that day, which is one of the few days in February that the sun actually came out for a few minutes. Little grebe's lovely to see. The goose anders. Windy day again. In fact, these were all the last Saturday of the month. I didn't think I'd get much after the Kendall trip, but I was wrong. Got a good mixture of shots coming up now, and videos. Another close-up of a dipper with the 602x and a pied wag. First one I've seen in ages. Then back home, and luckily the barn owl put a very short appearance in, and I remembered to video it while it was flying. But as I say, I quite prefer the perched shots of barn owls. And luckily it obliged. Right at sunset that, and the light was quite awkward, but a bit of fiddling around in Lightroom and it came out okay. And green finished the afternoon off. And these are the last few days of February, all local to me. Little egret again. Then I went down the canal for the first time in ages. And, the Canada geese are in abundance. Noisy things, but I didn't record any sound particularly, or nothing worth listening to. But the good news is the cormorants were back. I don't suppose the fishermen will like them being back on the canal, but they were, so I watched those for a few minutes in the rain. They're that used to dog walkers walking past, they're not bothered at all. I was happy to get that on video, and then I've put it on again now in slow motion, the exact same clip. Just watch the size of its wings when it folds them out. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Wow. give them a shake. Even though it is still raining. Oh, spectacular. Glad I went down the canal that day, because it's worth it just to see that. Didn't particularly want to see this that comes next, but I'm glad it went in the canal and not on my head. Very prehistoric looking things, but I was hoping I might see one actually catch something, but I didn't. Or if they did, they ate it underwater, but I doubt that. Anyway, this was the 27th of February, and the grey heron was there. This is early morning, just as sun was rising. And stone chats about on the frosty grass. Always nice to see stone chat. And a little reed bunting. The usual Roe Deer. Quite a nice one, that. And then at night, the same place, the same heron was within feet of where it was at 8 o'clock in the morning. I think they must be after frogs at the moment. Anyway, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. Do me a big favour if you would. I've only got 194 subscribers, I need more. Love watching them fly, herons, but look at the landing, look at the feathers on that. Anyway, that's it for February. See you in March, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Bye.